Hey, we're here.
Hi.
Sorry we're late by 45 minutes. There was traffic, and it's not my fault.
It's not your fault.
It ain't my fault. Did I do that? It ain't my fault. Did I do that? Anyway, welcome back to the KJ from OC podcast featuring
Muni.
Oh, look. I do not want to hear that right now. That was me. Sorry, that's a little feedback. Hi, Adam. Good to see you.
Hi, Adam.
And Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
Oh, I haven't seen Aaron in a long time. Anyway, so we have a couple of topics we're going to be talking about today. I'm trying to remember what the hell they were. Okay, yeah. So the Fat Joe concert from Friday that I went to and the interesting things that happened there. We're not going to talk about Fat Joe's.
I don't know that we can call it a
performance.
Concert. It was just a performance.
Good call.
He was on the stage for about 5 minutes.
5.5.
5.5 minutes. So I don't.
Part of that was walking
concert.
off and walking on the stage. So
Yeah.
But whatever. I won tickets, so I'm not really disappointed. It was an interesting night that leads to a podcast topic, right? To open up.
Yeah.
And we're also going to talk about dating with troubled finances, aggressive men, if your significant other were to get married right under your nose, and just the questions people were like, how would that even happen?
Right.
Oh God, you could be a +1.
Now, I don't know if you all can see that the Zoom is sort of is focusing, and then it'll like go out of focus. So if it does that, we're trying something new. Instead of using the,
no, I'm fucking with it.
you see it's doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they can see it too. I'm sure they can, but we're trying a new what is this?
New camera.
It's a camera.
It's an HD Microsoft something or other. So hopefully hopefully it keeps working and doesn't mess with the video. And if it does, well, it was a free camera. So thank you, PR. That's the homie right there. And also the last thing we're going to talk about is too many dating requirements. You see that post?
Yes.
That was like she had 4
she
things, and it wasn't even suggestive. Like, it'd be nice if it was can't wear sweats.
Yeah. Let's okay. So what are we talking about first?
We doing the Fat Joe. I want to open up and just be like, okay, so that night, because of that situation, right? I posted. I said, what did I say? Something about men being too aggressive. Well, let me see what my post was. Hold up. What day was that? That was what, Friday the 19th?
Yep.
Oh yeah. So it was a day after I saw Halloween. Great movie, by the way. If you haven't seen the new Halloween, go see it so we can talk about it because I love talking about that movie. I said 12:43. So that's right after Homeboy was being crazy. Men can be really shitty. If a woman rejects you, leave her alone, especially if she keeps rejecting you. Don't wait for another guy to walk up and set you straight. And the reason I say this is because I got rejected, but I walked away after I got rejected because that's what you're supposed to do, right? But then when I walked away, I walk into a dude I recognize from when I used to work in this club. And he's talking to Muni. And he would not leave her alone. What was he doing?
He was all in my personal space.
Mm-hmm.
He was just staring at me first, and I kind of looked at him, and then I looked away, and then I looked back, and he was still staring at me. So then I was like, yeah, how can I help you? So then he got closer to me, so he's talking to me, but he's also grabbing my hand and like touching like my arm and just kind of touching me, and I'm like, okay. So I kind of took his hands and pushed them back and kind of backed up a little bit. And I said, why are you staring at me? And he starts to talk. I'm not even sure what he's saying because we're in a club. It's loud. And he's like whispering. So I'm like, what? So I'm like, okay, I'm okay.
Could you make out what he was whispering and all?
I think he might have like been complimenting me or something.
Okay.
And, I'm just like, okay. And I'm like backing up and he's still, like talking. And then Kingston comes up and I kind of look at him like, thank you. Like, okay, maybe he'll leave. Because earlier that night, that happened again. Like another guy was like trying to talk to me and I was like, ah. And then when he came up, the guy walked away. So I was assuming this will be the same thing. Well, it wasn't. He stayed. He moved closer to me and he continued to touch my hands. And I'm like, what is with this dude? So finally, Kingston recommends that we go outside. And I'm like, yes, we go outside. And that's how that ended. We literally had to walk away and out and go outside.
I even told dude, I said, I remember you from when I used to work here, 11 years ago. and introduced myself so he knew who I was. Not because I was trying to intimidate him, but I was trying to let him know, like, look, she's obviously not interested. I think actually when I walked up, he looked over. He's like, "Wow."
Yeah, he did say that. He did.
Which was interesting. And that's when I was like, "Hey, you might remember me from when I used to work here." Yada yada yada. But yeah, even after talking to you and introducing myself to him and whatever, kind of like diffusing the situation. Like, all right, bro, you could chill. But he stayed there.
He stayed.
He would not walk away, and it was just like, you've been defeated.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a show. And I thought it was interesting. So yeah, we went outside, and that's when we had that conversation. And I said, I've seen posts like this that women will say a guy will respect another guy who has a woman more, or leave a woman alone if she has a man that's there, rather than just taking her word as a rejection, you know, if she's by herself.
But that worked with the first guy. It did not work with the second guy.
Right.
The first guy saw another male presence, and he moved. The second guy, I don't know what.
But you were rejecting the first dude, right? Like, I didn't even know how long he was there. You said he was there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, he was. And I told him, like, I have a boyfriend. And he's like, oh, well, you know, you should let me take you out. And I'm like, wow. I don't want to go out.
That is a horrible thing.
And then he keeps trying to, like, dance on me. And I'm just like, dude, like, back up, you know? So then he stands, like, to the side of me. He's drinking his beer. And I'm sure that's probably the problem with both guys. They probably were drinking a little bit. And, you know, I guess no just didn't mean no. So I'm like, you know, I'm not interested. And he, you know, just stayed there, and he's kind of dancing. He's like, come on. And he's like shouldering me. And I'm like, dude. So when he walks up, I guess he was like, oh, okay, maybe I should leave. Yeah, maybe you should.
Maybe you should have left
a long
5 minutes ago. Yeah. Yeah, really interesting stuff. And I really wish guys would understand this more, because a lot of these guys, and I'm just kind of just guessing, right? I'm just kind of throwing this out there. A lot of these guys, I'm sure, have sisters, moms that they love, you know, aunts, grandmas, daughters, even wives, right? Like, if your wife went out to a club with her girlfriends or just by herself, because maybe that's y'all relationship and that's fine, but some dude's hollering at her and she's telling him to go away, wouldn't you want him to just go away, right? But when we men keep doing these things to women, it makes them not want to even go out to clubs. And if women don't go to clubs, that means we're paying extra because they're not making the money at the front door or at the bar. And we're going to be by ourselves because there are going to be way more guys than girls. And so it's like, you guys are creating your own problem, and you need to stop that shit, because if you don't stop, eventually it's going to go away, and you're going to be like, oh, I can't believe yada, yada, yada. Well, you scared me.
Or not even that case. You know, like you said, you approached a girl that night and she rejected you. I'm not sure how she rejected you. How did that go? Like, what did she say?
She said, I asked her for a number, and she was like, well, and before she even gave a response, I could already tell. I'm like, it's going to be a no, huh? She's like, yeah, I don't give my number out. And I'm like, all right, cool. See you later.
I wanted to see the girl. He wouldn't even show me the girl. Nah, I'm like, I wanted to see how she looked, you know?
She had curly hair.
I didn't see the girl. I don't know how she looked. I have no idea how she looked. But, you know, he kind of felt it, and he moved along, you know?
Yep.
And I think that alleviates problems from arising, because say, for instance, I was with him and he walks up and these guys don't leave, and he was like aggressive and, you know, is now wanting to fight because these guys are not getting a hint, you know, because I never said, you know, that my boyfriend was there or not. I just said I had a boyfriend. So when you see a male presence, you don't know who this male is. And then you stay there and you continue to like touch me. And I mean, that could have escalated quickly. And even I don't like confrontation. So I'll try to kind of back away or walk out of it if I can. But had he not, you know, came up at some point, I might have had to, you know, like smack his hand away because he just kept on, you know, like forcing himself to like touch me. So
yeah, like the second dude was trying to put his hand on your hips. I noticed. Yeah. I think that's when I came over, because I'm like, all right, he's getting a little too close to your ass, and that's obviously the no-no zone. Yeah. And so we just don't know where that's going to go. And that's when I stepped in, I believe. Because I also wanted to respect you. Like, I don't want to play, you know, put on the cape and save all women from any confrontation, because y'all are adults. Y'all can speak up. But then when a guy doesn't step off, you know, then that's where it becomes, all right, now it's going to be a situation, or keep it from becoming a situation. But yeah, I was disappointed. I was disappointed in these fellas. You know, there was that one dude who looks like Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He didn't like when I said that to him, but I said it very nicely. Anyway, He tried to jump. He tried to dance with that one girl. Remember the bigger gal in the striped dress?
Completely away from
big.
him.
Don't wear stripes. Anyway,
at least not horizontal stripes, because like my grandma told me at a very young age, like horizontal stripes are going to make you look whiter.
Around the
so
hips.
You should wear vertical, or just don't wear stripes at all.
Yeah, black is beautiful.
Black is beautiful.
Oh wait.
But you know, we're not going to
like
police what other people are wearing. So I mean, you can wear whatever you want. It just may not be flattering.
I'm not fat
it wasn't flattering.
No, it was not. Neither was she. So he tries. So Spicoli tried to dance with horizontals, and he at first tried to dance with her from behind, and then she kind of backed away immediately, right? From what I was seeing, and I kind of
she didn't back away. She walked away.
Yeah. She walked off and went made a turn and was like now was facing him, but was definitely further away. And so then he walked around and went behind her again, and I thought, he's not getting the hit.
He wasn't. He didn't care
at all. Yeah, he was obviously tipsy. Like you could see the way he was dancing earlier in the night. He was humping the ground or whatever. So that was a little interesting. But even that situation, he didn't need to try again. But I like that when he tried again, then he stopped after the second. Like, okay, 2 no's is 2 no's, right? It's not going to change. So I like that he at least stepped off. And so that was the only other time I think I saw anything that night, because I'm no longer in bouncer mode, so I don't peep the whole scenario anymore. But yeah, only a couple times I saw those kind of things happen. But I never ever hear guys say, "This girl won't leave me alone." It's always guys, bothering women and not leaving women alone when women reject them. I've been called over like, "Hey, this guy won't leave me alone. He's trying to talk to me and my girlfriends. We're just trying to have fun, and he won't go away."
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, just back off. Problem will be solved, and no one's gonna get hurt or thrown out.
And the interesting thing is, like, we went together because his friend was performing.
DJ Camouflage in the building.
And then, Fat Joe was performing also.
Yeah.
So I'm like, go flirt, go hang out, go, get numbers, like enjoy it. I'm good. I'm going to stand here. I have a Jack and Coke. I'm in my vibe. I'm dancing. I like to dance, and I'm by myself, and I'm okay. I wasn't like giving anybody the eye to like come over and talk to me. I'm just, kind of like chilling. So, but I get it. If a guy sees a girl, that's by herself, I don't go to the club by myself. So I guess I've never been in this situation before, or I don't know. I can't remember, but I don't usually go to the club by myself. So right. I feel like I'm not in this situation. So I kind of didn't know what to do. And not that race means anything, but like the first guy was Hispanic, and then the other guy, I think he was Asian.
I think Filipino or something.
Yeah, and I don't know how things go culturally. I just I don't know, but I think that alcohol again may have been a contributing factor because both of them had drinks in their hands. So.
Mm. And I think I said this, at least maybe when I was talking to you about it afterwards, or someone else I was telling the story to. I told several people the story because I was disappointed. But with the second dude, the smaller Korean dude or whatever he was, Vietnamese. Yeah, I think it was Vietnamese.
Yeah,
anyway, when I was working at the club before and he was a patron, 11 years ago, even though I remembered him, I never remember him ever being a problem with anyone. Like I don't remember any women saying, "Hey, this guy's not going to leave me alone" or whatever. So for him, I would say for that instance, it may have been the alcohol as opposed to anything else, because I don't remember him ever being a problem. But yeah, it's just like, and that's not to give anyone any kind of excuse,
right? At all, because someone tells you no, you should leave them alone.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm just saying I can understand that their thoughts might have been a little cloudy had they had the liquor in their system.
I treat it like, okay, so this morning I'm on the phone with a friend of mine, and while we're on the phone, my roommate knocks on my door and says, "Hey, someone's at the door for you." And I'm like, who the hell's at the door for me at 11 o'clock? They know football's on and it's Sunday, and no one told me they were coming. So I kind of peek my head around the corner because I'm in my undies, because that's how I roll. And it's a lady passing out stuff for the upcoming election in my district. I think for like the school district or whatever. And I said, yes. And I said, "Are you passing out political stuff?" She said, "Yes." I said, "I'm good." She's like, "Yeah, but it's for Harvey Rodan or whatever his name is." I'm like, "I'm good." She's like, well, can I just leave this? And I walked off. I'm like, no, I don't care. So it becomes like the same kind of thing. Like, leave me alone. You just got rejected. Don't leave me your number. Don't leave me this information or that information. Obviously, I do not care. And when you leave it on my door, I took it when I got it later, ripped it up, threw it away. I'm not reading it. You're wasting your time. So don't do stuff like that, guys. And political people, don't go bugging people.
Political, religious people.
Yeah.
I have some Jehovah's Witnesses who come down the street and they like to knock on the door, and my neighbor talks to them. I'm not sure if she is Jehovah's Witness or not, but I see them frequently at her house. And, they'll knock on my door and I'll say I'm not interested. And then they'll continue to ask questions. And I'm like, I'm not interested. And I don't want to be rude and close the door in their face, but like, I just told you I'm not interested. Like, I'm not at all interested in what you have to say. So please leave. Thank you.
How many times does it take for a no?
Like, you shouldn't force anything down anione's throat. If someone tells you no, like, it's no. Hey. But so it was an interesting experience. But it did end on a high note because we were leaving out of the side door.
That's right.
And we saw that Joe.
This hand right here.
And this guy wants to take a picture with him.
Before that, when he opened the door, what happened to the girl in front?
It was this girl. She was sitting. I don't know if she was sitting on like the, you know how they have those little ashtrays?
No,
like,
she was just standing there.
But that's what she fell over though.
Yes.
So I don't know if she was like trying to like sit on that or move or like walk around it. But the door came and she flew. Like, we didn't even know where this came from because it didn't seem like it warranted that kind of reaction. But she like flew back. And we're like, what the hell?
She fell over that ashtray.
Thing fell over like backwards. It was a horrible thing.
She didn't hit her head, or else I would not have laughed. But it was very comedic.
It was very comedic and very dramatic. But so Fat Joe's walking out, and he decides that he wants to ask him for a picture. You did, and he said no, but he did tell him that he was with the prettiest girl in the club. And that, like, good job. And this guy's like, yeah, thank you. And then he shakes his hand. So I'm like, you taking credit? Like, I'm your girl. Like,
he was talking to me though. I mean, you could have said thank you.
I didn't say anything because I still caught on the girl who just fell over the straight thing. I'm like, is she okay? It was very quick, And then like they're all coming out and we're walking. So I didn't say anything. I should have said thank you, but and then I think I'm like, oh, what's going on? So yeah.
But, by the way, it was this hand right here that shook Fat Joe's hand. So if anyone would like to shake, no, we're probably not going to shake hands on it. No, okay. All right. Oh, what is the next topic? If she keeps. Oh, wait, that was the first one. Dating with troubled finances. Oh, that's the old one. God, that's far.
Yeah, we can talk about dating with troubled finances.
What do you think? Oh, found it.
I don't want to date a guy that has trouble with his finances. I don't.
Now, what does trouble do you mean?
When you're not financially stable, and whatever that means for you. If you don't feel financially stable, then you shouldn't date. You should get your finances together. So
then it's up to the man to determine whether or not he's financially stable?
I think everyone knows what financial stability is. Can you pay your bills on time?
Mm-hmm.
Can you pay your bills?
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to live on your own, or are you still living at home?
Mm-hmm.
What does your life look like financially? And here's the thing. I can take care of myself. I don't need anybody else's money, but I'm not going to stop my living for someone else. So if you're coming into my life, I would prefer for you to be an asset and we can do things together, because I don't want to not be able to do things because you can't afford them and I'm not paying for them. I'm not paying your way.
Right.
So let's come into this equal. And if we're not, then you probably should take some time away from dating and work on that. And if that's not important to you or the girl that you're dating, then that's fine. But it's important to me. So you should get your finances together and we can reconnect then. But I don't want to teach you. I'm not trying to help you. I'm coming in this with financial stability. And financial stability to me is I can, like I said, take care of my bills. I have a savings account. I have, a few investments, and I have retirement. And if I had a child, I would be able to invest in my child scholarship fund or whatever the case. So that's what financial stability looks like to me.
So you want him to come in with at least as much as you're doing?
Yeah.
Or at least around? Okay. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because you definitely don't want to be, dating somebody if you're well off and they just have nothing and planned nothing or whatever.
I'm not going back to my 20s. I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it.
Is that what it was like in the 20s?
Yeah, it was a bit of a struggle for everybody. I actually had a pretty decent job. I was a manager at Lowe's. So even then, I didn't necessarily not have the finances, but I was very reckless with my money. Very, very reckless. And I might have had to get a payday loan or two back in the day, because I was reckless. I was like, oh, I like that purse, and that purse is $500. I'm going to buy it, but I might be a little bit short on this car note, and this car note has to be paid. So, I get it, but like I said, I'm not going back to my 20s. I worked very hard to get my credit established to a certain number. And I just don't see the need for me to date somebody that's not, I need to see some progress. I need to see you doing good. And like I said, I just feel like, why would you date if you're not ready? I just don't get it.
I would say, how can you tell if someone is? I mean, because obviously anyone can put up a front, right? Like they might be renting a place and say that they own it and you would never know because you wouldn't see the paperwork or whatever. How would you be able to tell?
I don't know that I would be able to tell, right off of, the bat. I think that, certain actions will show that. So, if we're going out and you can afford to go out and I'm paying, that's a problem. And that's not going to happen too frequently. If I want to do something or go somewhere and you can't do that, that's going to be a problem. If, credit is important. I want to, buy a house. I want to, get married. I want to do these things. If you can't do those things, that's a problem. So, I think that those are ways that you can kind of tell that somebody's having, some financial problems. And I think that in a relationship, I think that once it gets really serious, I think it's important to, pull credit reports. Just like I think it's important if you're having sex with someone, hey, let's see these, test results. Let's make sure that, we're safe. So, it's the same with finances. Let's see that,
see what we're going into.
Let's see what we're going into. So I know that I won't get married unless I see those things. And that's just that.
Yeah, I know that, well, at least I've heard that one of the main reasons people get divorced is because of finances, obviously sex and some other stuff too. But children. It's but if your finances aren't in order or something like that, and you're trying to do things that you just cannot afford, which I think one of my friends told me a while back, because I was talking about something. And she said, well, if you're just upfront and honest about what you can and cannot afford, then at least that sets it in motion from there instead of trying to portray something that you can't keep up. When I think I mentioned this on the last show just a couple months ago, but when a guy takes a gal out for the first time, don't make it a $200 dinner, and roses and this and that. You're not going to keep that up, bro. If you want to take it slow, then take it slow and let her know that from jump. So she's not expecting this all the time.
It's not necessarily they can't keep it up. If you cannot keep it up, you should not do it. Because I know guys who can keep it up, and they do, but that's a whole nother, they have some other issues. But if you, don't start, don't start nothing that you can't finish. Don't take me on, several extensive dates and then, it's Denny's and IHOP and Fridays after that, because I'm going to have a problem with that.
Yeah, because you're setting a standard that really you should just be honest and upfront from the beginning. So that way people know where you stand. Because you would want a woman coming to you and be like, oh, by the way, 6 days in, I have a kid.
Right.
And it ends up being 3 kids.
Right.
3 different dudes. Why didn't you tell me?
Still live with the dude.
Yeah.
What?
I'm married.
So,
that would be something totally different.
I think it's important to be honest up front with, everything. Be transparent and let people decide if they want to deal with you or not. Don't spring nothing on nobody because it's just going to end in doom. It will. One
of the responders, I got a lot of responses. I got 40 responses on this one, and no arguments, thankfully, because it wasn't political. But the first one, he can be struggling, but if his bills are paid and he's self-sufficient, it's okay. If he can't keep a roof over his head and keep overdrafting, he needs to work on himself before he brings another person down. That's kind of like what you were saying to a degree.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. One thing that this person said, Mike here said, absolutely learn to be a good cook, which I thought that's a good idea because if you're struggling with your finances, you don't want to be taking someone out to go to a date for there, whatever. Learn to cook and either, you can do a picnic, you can do dinner at her house, their house, whatever, or wherever, but keep it within your budget. Obviously you're going to have to budget for something.
Within the scope of your finances.
There it is. Boom. Don't overdo it, fellas.
Don't overdo it.
Some people just gave yes answers, but I wanted more. Here's one from Vanessa. Yes, but he should also not plan dates beyond his means. Boom. Meaning if you can't pay your bills, don't be going out for lavish meals or on trips. You're setting yourself up for failure like that. And I think guys think that women want that all the time. And I think women really want more authenticity from a man. And that's just me.
Be real. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Be your authentic self. People are more drawn to people who are their authentic self. So when, you say, I want somebody that's real, that's what that means. Be yourself.
Yeah.
You're good at being yourself. You're not good at being anybody else.
But if being yourself means being a liar and a manipulator, then be somebody else. Because we don't have time for that.
Right.
And Brandy says, not if the average date is $200, or maybe that's why he's having difficulties financially, which can be that, absolutely, right? He can date within his means. And so basically, people kind of agree exactly with what we're saying because we work with and talk to intelligent people. We're not stupid. So yeah, you don't want to overdo some stuff that you just don't have the means for. I know we're getting short on time for you because is it bedtime?
No.
It's still light out. So we had 2 more topics. Oh, that's the last one. What was the other one I was going to do?
When you walk in on your...
Oh my God.
So for those Wendy watchers out there, she had a show recently last week where one of her audience members stood up during the Ask Wendy segment of the show. And she said that she went to a wedding with her friend and the groom was her boyfriend of 2 years.
Oops.
I don't know how you are in a relationship with someone for 2 years and don't know that they are in a whole nother relationship with someone. I mean, she was missing the clues. She needs to go line up the context clues and get her whole life because I just can't see that. How is there has to be chunks of time that are missing and things that can't be explained. And I'm just wondering if she overlooked those things because us as women, a lot of times we overlook those small things that add up to something big. And we, hope that it's not going to do that. We hope that whatever we've been thinking is not going to be true. And then we find ourselves in that situation. So I need the backstory because I'm thinking, okay, she's stupid. Something's not right with her.
Yeah.
2 years and this man is getting married to a whole nother person. Mm-hmm. You can't tell me that there wasn't inconsistencies in his behavior. Unless he is a master manipulator. Mm-hmm. Master.
That's my
because
guess.
There are some people who are sociopaths who are masters at manipulation. That's the only way I can see that happening. But something tells me she probably was just stupid.
Yeah, I kind of have a feeling, and obviously we don't know what his side of the story was or how he lied or what he did or anything like that. But my guess is, because I've heard situations where people say, oh, my man, he works a lot. He's always working. He's builds his own business or his boss is just crazy. And so they use that as their excuse as to why they can't come over and can't do this and can't do that. But really it's them spending time with their kids and their wife.
Exactly.
It's really, man, I can't understand how you fell for that shit for so long. It's one thing to be like, okay, I'm going to give some time. But okay, you know what? This has been 2 months, 3 months. It's time to cut it off now. I was dating a gal a couple years ago or a year ago, whatever, but she would not want to talk during the week. I mean, she was not married still, but she didn't want to talk during the week too much, like maybe an hour at the most, and would only see me on the weekends. And I just was like, okay, it's been several months and nothing's really changing. She was divorced already, but it was still just like, this is crazy. After so long, if you're not connecting and things aren't lining up to how you need your relationship to be, cut it off, man.
And that's what I'm saying. If he, is working all these hours and he can never pick up his phone, I would have a problem with that. I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who's in a relationship with their job.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, like, okay, you the stupid one for saying, not saying that she deserves, that, but ladies, wake up, men, wake up. If somebody does not have the time for you, why would you want to be in a relationship like that?
Yeah. And so the question is, you walk into a wedding and see your boyfriend or significant other getting married, what do you do? And my reaction is I would wait patiently until it is the speak now or forever hold your peace part. And then I would speak up and stand up and say, got a bunch of pictures here with me and her. And yeah, I don't think y'all should get married because she's been cheating on you for whatever amount of time. And I would say something because I don't think, because if it were happening to me and I was that other person, I'd want someone to tell me, right? Like I used to work with this cat years ago, and his wife had come to the nightclub I worked at, the same one we went to the other night. And his wife, at one point I left the front door because I used to check out all the IDs and stuff. I went to the restroom, came back, and his wife, who'd already been in there for a while, had left because her friend came up and was like, hey, have you seen so-and-so? I won't say no names. And I said, no, I haven't seen her. And then my coworker came over and said, hey, she just left out like 5 minutes ago with some other dude. And I was like, oh, that's crazy because she's married to my old coworker. Ugh. So she came back a few minutes later, and then the other customer dude came back after her. And I thought that looks very odd and awkward. And if that was my wife, I'd want someone who knew me, because I knew the dude for a long time, to tell me and say, hey, your wife came to the club. She was missing for a while. Her friend was looking for her, and she was with some other dude. I don't know what happened, but if it were me, I'd want to know, right?
You say that, and I tell my friends to this day, I always have reservations about telling someone about their significant other, because more than likely they know. And then if you tell them, you get involved, and now, there's a problem with, you and they decide to stay together, and now he doesn't like you because, you've told his wife, or she doesn't like you because you told her husband that you've seen them, stepping out. So sometimes I'll just ask my friends, would you like to know? Because I'm not the friend that will tell you willingly.
Way ahead of time.
Most of my friends, I think, if I haven't and y'all see this, y'all probably should talk to me about it, because if you don't tell me you want me to tell you, I'm not telling. I'm minding my business, and I'm saying to myself. And if you see my boyfriend out, tell me. I want you to tell me.
Tell me
right now.
what you want,
tell
baby.
me if you see him with another woman. I would like to know. But unless you tell me, I'm not gonna let you know.
Yeah, I had several people during that time tell me I was wrong for that, and others tell me I was right for that, because you know him. So I don't think I'd been to his house or nothing like that, but still, So actually, I did write to him through Facebook. This was years ago, and time went by, like a month, I think, went by. He never wrote back, and I was like, "Oh God, he's mad at me. Did I do something wrong?" And he's like, "Oh no, I just forgot." So he actually did write me back. He's like, "Thank you for that. I appreciate that." He said our new rule is that the girls can't go to the nightclubs or anything without the husbands, because they were both married, the girl she came with. So, and then they came back to the nightclub once or twice. Still, it was a little awkward for me when I first saw them, because it was like, don't hate me.
Right.
But I mean, whatever she was doing in that car, I don't know, could have been weed, could have been, anything. Yeah. But still, it's my wife is in another car with another man who's not, someone else that I know. Whether she knew him or not, I don't know. But it's just a weird look. So, I'm
going to adjust this a little, because it's still trying to focus. So I'm going to bring it a little closer to us, and hopefully that'll
I think I'm out of the frame a little. Okay.
Maybe. Because we're now sitting in the diagonal, so it's going to just look weird. But
no.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so what would I do if I were to walk into the wedding and see my boyfriend getting married? Like I said, I'm not confrontational, but I do have cousins who are with the business, and I'm calling all of them and my friend. And
somebody's getting shot.
No, I don't think anybody's getting shot, but I think that I like to talk. I like to talk, so I will probably go up there and say something, and then my cousins would be there to have my back so that I can speak my piece. and let people know what's going on. Yeah, we've been in a relationship for 2 years. I would, explain the relationship and why I'm, talking in front of the congregation of people. And I would smack him probably, and we would leave. And, hopefully nothing would, happen. But if it did, I got my squad with me. So, yeah. And I got a brother too. And, I can call him and he will come too. So.
And he would just say very stern things.
No, he ain't saying nothing stern. He laying them hands. All hands.
Mm-hmm. Hands on deck. Hands on face. Hands on arms.
Yeah, that's probably what would happen. I'm not walking out. I'm not taking the high road. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, and some people didn't understand how you can walk into a wedding and not know who's getting married. Well, you could be someone's plus one. I mean, any kind of situation could happen. Someone could be like, "Hey, I invited a bunch of people to my wedding and no one's coming." Start inviting coworkers. People that you just see at the job, and they. Girls go to weddings together. Guys really don't do that because that's just not what we do when we're straight. So yeah, somebody could just bring one of their friends, and that's how you would be like, oh, damn, and there you are, right? So that's how that can happen. So some of the responses I got, let's see, Rochelle said, walk outside, turn around, lock the doors, burn the bitch down.
Ooh, everybody in it. Everybody in it.
Everybody going down. Everybody. Yeah, I guess those are the only. Oh, this was on Wendy. That was that one. There was my response, your response, and other people really just asking questions like, "How could you be in a wedding?" I was like, "Come on, guys."
Yeah, I think we needed all the details of the story because it just.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't seem right.
Yeah, because she didn't really give details to her specific situation, how she went to a wedding and was, saw her man there. That's kind of interesting.
Blindsided.
Because I would think. At some point, if you knew, like if you end up being the plus one, whoever invited you would maybe know the couple.
Yeah,
and then
I would
make
be
the
mad
connection.
at my friend, absolutely.
Yeah,
Don't invite me to my boyfriend's wedding. What are you doing? What are you doing? Unless you with that business and you ready.
Yeah.
But I would probably ask my friend, why would you do that? So.
And the friend could be like, I've been telling you for 2 years, he's probably with someone else.
But if you've been telling me for 2 years and I'm not, changing my actions, then clearly I don't care, Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We need all the details.
And only one other person said, I read a story that someone waited to the hold your peace part, pointed to the pregnant bride, so I guess it was a guy. It said, that's not your baby and he's not the father. My boyfriend is the father. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you type wedding fights on YouTube, I'm sure half of those fights are because situations like this.
People cheating, man.
Yeah, people cheat.
Don't cheat.
Have you ever cheated?
Don't talk about me.
Oh.
Does high school count?
Yeah, all of it counts.
Then I don't want to give my answer. It was a long time ago.
It was. We all grow up. We do better.
That was 27 years ago. What year is this?
2018.
Oh yeah, the calendar's right there.
10/21, 2018.
Yeah, I had a girlfriend who had left town with the family for like Christmas break or whatever, and I had come across a couple gals that I knew from school who I think were in the same grade she was. And they didn't like her, and I think I was mad at her for not having called me while she was on vacation. And so out of that, I kissed one or two other girls. And we never even talked after she came back from vacation. I think I called, but she never returned the call. I guess she broke up with me before vacation.
Yeah, and you didn't know.
So I didn't really cheat. All right.
You still did because you thought you were together.
I didn't know. Yeah. Well. Anyway, moving on. So here's someone who will never get cheated on. There was a Steve Harvey episode.
She's never gonna have a boyfriend either. So
he asked her, "Do you like free time? Because you're gonna have a lot of it."
A lot.
But yeah, this lady, I forget her name, Katie. We'll just call her Katie because I think that's what her name was. She had a full list of requirements, not even things that she liked, like, oh, I'd like a guy to be tall or this or that, muscular, all that kind of stuff. As everyone kind of has their things that they like. But she had a list of requirements that she had prior to anyone dating her. And I'm going to run through the first set and then we're going to laugh.
We are.
Must be 30 to 45. I don't remember how old she was. Must be financially stable. No children, 5'10" or taller. No hookups or flings. That means I guess they're not doing the hookup or fling thing. Must be ready to settle down. I don't know what that means. No roommates. Non-smoker. Must love desserts because she had a dessert company or something like that. Can't be anti-sugar, which goes into the dessert thing. Must be honest. I would expect that. Reliable. Sweet and kind. Quick-witted. God. Romantic. Love food. Pay on the first date. No flowers on the first date. Be a social drinker. So if he's been to AA and doesn't do drinking anymore, and that was 10 years ago, he must still be able to socially drink.
Apparently.
Good Lord. Must never wear sweatpants. Bitch, I'm in bed. Why are you telling me what I can and cannot wear in bed? Or when I walk to the restroom while I'm watching football on Sundays?
Or ever.
Yeah.
Or ever.
It's ridiculous.
Why would you...
Oh, but there's more. Steve Harvey had these columns that were like TVs, like long TVs that had everything on there. He had 4 of these at least. Was it 4? 6? I can't remember. Must be adventurous, must be humble, spontaneous, a planner, can't be self-centered like this lady, can't be cocky, must love dogs, can't own a dog from a breeder. And she explained, she said, because they breed these dogs, it's bad for the dogs and all this kind of stuff. And can't be jealous of her dog. She said that she dated a guy who was jealous of her dog. Well, maybe you're way too into your dog. You can't be kissing your dog in the face and then want to kiss your boyfriend.
The fact that she has requirements that tell you can't get a dog from a breeder should let you know this lady is serious about her dog.
Yeah. Can't own a cat. My goodness. Telling me what I can and can't do.
Wouldn't let you own a cat, or we're just never going to live together because I don't like cats.
Must be in shape. Can't have 6-pack abs. Don't the two sometimes go together. Can't be too skinny. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? A whole lot of folk. Can't have a runner's physique. Can't be stronger than me. That's so stupid. Can't be obsessed with sports. And then I missed one because my phone only caught so much. What else is there? Oh, must open doors for her, must be willing to move someplace warm. So if he owns a home in Wisconsin and maybe has a mansion, nope, you need to sell that. You need to move with me to Laguna Beach or Miami or like, really? Must love traveling, can't brag about traveling. So Steve said, so we can go places, but you can't tell nobody. Steve was funny. Must maintain eye contact, so don't be partially blind. Can't be a party, looks like party animal. It cut off. I think that was all of them. Holy cow. Requirements. I don't.
The thing is, I believe in manifesting what you want in life, and I am a list maker. So I read this book by Hill Harper called Letters to a Young Sister. And I just remember in the book, it talked about blueprinting your life, writing down every single thing that you can think of with specifics and having an idea of what you want. So I get writing this list down, but sometimes I think that we don't even know what's good for us. Mm-hmm. Like she's just writing a whole bunch of like pointless things.
Yeah, they kind of contradict one another.
Yeah, you know, so it just didn't make sense to me. I have a really specific list, but that was beyond specific to me. But I mean, I guess this is a woman who knows what she wants, and she may even find, what she wants. But if a guy came at me with a list like that,
deuces.
Out.
Yeah. I kind of wonder if she's been hurt before. And I don't mean just we broke up.
What kind of hurt gets a list like this?
Eccentric.
The guy with the 6-pack that was in shape hurt your feelings, so now he cannot have a 6-pack.
Right.
He still needs to be in shape though.
Maybe I think this is what happened is maybe the guy with the 6-pack abs really loved sports and wore sweatpants when he watched. And so because he broke her heart, or because maybe she had this high expectation of we're gonna get married one day, and maybe he lived in a cold place. Now it's like, okay, those 4 things I never want to see again because it reminds me of that guy. I don't want to be reminded of him. So now no one can do these things ever again. So there's a lot of grace and forgiveness she's not allowing in her life, which probably makes her very bitter.
Something's not right. You need to be in shape, but you are going to eat all of these sweets with all of the sugar. That's what you're going to do.
I know.
To be with me.
But then you have to run to work that off.
Yeah. But don't run too much.
Yeah, because you can't run. And you can't be stronger than her. What male?
I've never heard of such a thing.
I don't know too many males that are not stronger than their females. Not that it doesn't happen, but I mean, the male body is just built to be. We have more muscle mass. So
and I appreciate my man six pack. I do. I appreciate it.
I have a six pack. It's in the fridge.
Oh, I was like,
what's she looking at me? Are you laughing at me? Are you saying I'm fat?
No, that was just unexpected. It was just unexpected.
I'm hurt.
I'm hurt. No, I don't have a six pack either, so I don't hate on people that don't have six packs.
Can't live in Signal Hill. Can't have glasses.
That's your list. That is your list.
Can't go to Fat Joe concerts.
That list is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
You know, it's funny. She didn't, as far as what we saw or what I saw, I don't remember seeing anything about music types or movie types, like, can't be super into movies or heavy metal, or whatever. But I bet her list is actually a lot longer.
Probably.
It would not surprise me. There was one gal who actually responded just the other day. She said, my list is longer. I said, how's your relationship going? But that's just me being an asshole.
What did she say? What was her response?
I just wrote it today, so she hasn't responded. But she's not married. So there you go. One person said, I bet she's first to complain about no good available men to her 27 cats. That was funny. But I respect Kim's answer here. She said, I personally think it's great when someone lets you know, or someone knows what they want and lets you know ahead of time, which I can respect, right? Because obviously she's doing that. That way, you're not wasting your time, your life on them if you're not what they want. So, like for me, I don't fit a lot of that stuff. So I wouldn't even bother. Plus, I'm already turned off. Like I would go from, where are we? I would go from here to here very quickly and not want to even mess with her. Let me see what that was a reference to. Okay, got it. And be like, you know what? I'm already turned off. I'm good. I don't even want to be a friend because I just don't.
Right. I don't even want to be your friend. Yeah. Like, what is wrong with you? Can you imagine her as a friend? Like,
no.
Somebody that has a list like this, it just makes you wonder about them.
Maybe really judgy. A friend of mine told me last year when I was going through some stuff, she said, if you're trying to avoid being hurt, don't leave the house. And I was like, that's a solid point, because I think a lot of times in relationships, we get so caught up in like, they're going to break up with me tomorrow, so I'm going to break up with them today to avoid that hurt. Because now it's like I have a one-up on them, and they can't say, well, I broke up with her because you're crazy, You're like, no, I broke up with you. And so it's almost like sometimes these reactive things we do to emotions that may actually be false anyway. Like you might feel whatever you feel, but the reason why you feel that way might actually just because it's in your head as opposed to what's really, really going on.
The truth.
Yeah, exactly. So we got to get out of our heads sometimes to really deal with life in its proper context.
Yeah. Especially if we want other people to join life with us.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a world full of people.
We have to work on us.
And we have to adapt to people, unless you're going to sit in your house, and that just leads to depression. So it's good to have good relationships with people.
And back to what I said a few minutes ago about Grace, like allow people to kind of be themselves. She's really refined her list, and I respect the fact that she knows what she wants. I get that, but as far as how much and all these, like none of it really was character.
No.
A lot of it, like the honesty thing and financially stable.
But it was only a lot
of it athletics.
Athletics,
like what if he drinks too much water and pees all the time?
And he has to be like a social drinker. Like that's so weird.
Has to be. So you can't ever have had a drinking problem and stop drinking. And she didn't say anything about cocaine though, did she?
She didn't.
Well, maybe because she does coke and that's okay.
That's why she got this anal list. You know what though? I know someone who was on the Steve Harvey show, and I don't know that this is real. I'll just say that I don't know that this is real. This just may have been for the show because obviously it's going to get people's attention and get people talking about it like we're talking about it now. Absolutely. So I don't know that that's real. But if it is real, maybe she should work on herself.
Yeah. It would suck to actually pretend like this was real and be that actress who did this episode, because now if I were to see her for real somewhere, and if I really found her attractive, whatever, and I would want to approach her, now I'm not going to, because what I saw on TV or on YouTube or whatever. So sometimes you got to be careful about what you sign up for. Jerry Springer, Maury Povich, any of that stuff that's fake. Like, people might remember that episode.
Yeah.
So don't do it. Don't do it. Well, speaking of doing it, guess what? We did it. That sounds bad. You know what I mean? We did the show. High five right here. All right. Well, you're back. So you're welcome. And thank you for joining us on our 50-minute episode. This is our longest one, because usually it's just like 25 minutes because you make me get out.
The thing is, it's on a Sunday and it's in the middle of the day and I have time today.
Mm-hmm.
But during the week, I go to bed early because I have to go to work early. Is that how I talk? Because I don't think I do.
That's what I end up hearing.
Oh,
It's my fault. I got to get out of my head.
get out your head.
She's going to hit me in like 20 seconds.
I'm not
So anyway.
confrontational. That's not going to happen. Don't
Passive
believe that.
aggressive.
Don't believe that.
She's going to hit me in her head. Thank you for joining us.
Hey,
AJ and Mooney.
Yes, we're here.
We'll be back next month,
We
and
will.
hopefully the camera will stop adjusting.
Right.
Maybe
We're
we
going to
should-
get this right. And
we
we're
should
going to
stop
keep trying
moving.
until we get it right.
Maybe we should stop moving. We should just
Really?
stand still.
Really? That's not authentic.
Don't
I like
move.
to move. I'm surprised I haven't been using my hands more
Or
because I
to
like to
move
use
it,
my
move it.
hands.
Or
But,
to move it. Move it!
It's clearly time for us to go. But we're both like on a whole different page. Thank you guys for watching.
Yes. Episode 117. This will be on YouTube in tonight. You're welcome. God bless. We